was young, they said I won't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hate and say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is episode 1, season 1 of Creative Conversations. This is going to be a weekly podcast put out by Creators Culture.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Sean. This is Rico next to me. And
What's up, guys?
We're going to be putting out a weekly podcast where we talk about a new subject. And this first one, we thought we'd start it off with setting goals.
Goal setting, very important. It's 2017. Everybody has big goals set out for 2017. So, a lot of people set big goals, but a lot of them don't actually reach those goals because they don't know how to set clear goals.
Yep.
So we're taking the time out of our day to talk about that really quick. So what do you think is the most important part about setting and defining clear goals?
Yeah, for me, I think one of the first things that you can do as you're looking to set and define clear goals is looking at a timeline and being honest about how long those goals are going to take. And so the mistake that I see a lot of people make is they'll, at the beginning of the year, right, New Year's comes, right? New Year's resolutions. Everybody has a New Year's resolution, right? Lose weight, hit the gym more, be more productive, get more social media followers, whatever it is. And I think the problem is that we come up with like a top 10 list, right?
Yeah.
And you write all those things down, man. I want to lose weight. I want to find a girl. I want to do this. I want to do that. And that falls through because you've not defined really a timeline for any of those goals. So there's not a 30-day definition. There's not a couple months, 90 days, a year goal. So talk a little bit about that, Rico. Like, I know you hit the gym a lot. You've been working with your brother, Manny, on setting some goals for working out. So, like, what would that look like for you? Like, let's say I said, man, one of my goals is I want to hit the gym more and lose weight. What would a clear definition of that goal look like?
So, as my work, I was a personal trainer for a little bit in my life, and a lot of people they come up to me and they're like, yo, so I want to tone and I want to, lose some fat. And I'm like, okay, well, how much fat do you want to lose? Like, where do you want to tone? They go, I don't know. I just want to look a little bit thinner. Well, that right there is a clear indication that you guys don't have clear goals. It's really important to kind of set, a number and a timeline to where you're like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 2 months. Because now that gives you a goal to strive for, which is, 5 pounds a month.
Yep.
Which will structure your weeks, structure your days, and you'll be set on track for achieving that goal through your daily actions because you're consciously aware of what you want to do and where you want to go.
Yeah.
So it's really important to kind of just like have a number and have a timeline and then be realistic with it. People are like, oh yeah, you know what? It's 2017. I'm going to lose, like 50 pounds the next 2 months. And it's just, that's unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that. So it's very important to be realistic. Like working with my brother, he's been super patient, and we're skinny people, so it's a little bit different training, and it's a little more patience, but for us to put on weight to actually like build muscle is about 2 pounds a month. So you have to be realistic and know that like if you want to put on at least 10 pounds, it's going to take 5 months, and then just be realistic with that. So I've been working with him. He's been doing good, but that's really important.
Yeah, so we talked about having a timeline, being realistic. I think the third thing then, after you've set a timeline and you've become realistic about those goals, is that you need to be on a schedule. And I think that's a huge thing that a lot of people miss, is that they don't plan out a schedule. So like, let's say you have a 30-day goal. Well, what's your schedule going to look like, man? If it's the gym, you got to say Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, here's the time I have, I'm going to go. If you're looking at posting on social media more, you're trying to build to a market, or you're trying to build a brand, it's important that you have specific times, specific days that are high trafficked areas and times. And so it's important to build a schedule. And so let's switch a little bit. We talked about working out or the gym. Now, like for social media, for example, I know a lot of you guys are asking us questions about social media already. How were we able to start so quick? Start building a following. I know Rico's doing great on YouTube right now with over 13,000 followers now. And I think building a schedule is really important to goal setting. One of the things that I use a lot, man, I love it. Little shout out right now just for something is Hootsuite. on my Twitter and my Instagram.
Yep.
I think I manage probably 5 or 6 different Twitter and Instagram accounts, both for myself and for other people. And so it's important to be on a schedule, man, and to have that. I mean, you miss 2 or 3 of those, and all of a sudden you're behind. People don't know what's going on. You've missed a really important opportunity to share something great that happened. And so I think scheduling is really important. Now talk about living in the moment a little bit, because you've been great with that, Rico. Like, what are some of the things that they need to do in goal setting to be living in the moment to help them achieve and reach their goals?
That's like one of the hardest things that I just try to practice on a daily basis, is just being present in the now. You know what I mean? Because we get so caught up, and what ends up happening is like you lose happiness in the moment because you're searching for it in the future, which is completely like, that just makes you unhappy. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I'm not going to be unhappy until I lose that weight. I'm not going to be happy until I look this way, or I'm not going to be happy until I have this many followers. And you're just so, I mean, that's undetermined because it hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that like all you have is this moment, and be present and know that, just do what you can do now in order to reach that goal, because that's all you really have is now.
And I think, so we talked a little bit about living in the moment. I think with that comes being prepared. Know what you need to make that goal happen. So like if it's the gym, right, then you need to know that you need to set your alarm to get up in the morning. If it's eating well, you know that you got a meal prep. If it's on social media, you know that like, man, these are the times I got to turn the TV off and I got to get into this stuff. Netflix, I can't binge watch. I can't do these things because that's such a time waster. And so I think it's important to be prepared. One of the things that we're learning and growing in is we develop creators culture as a brand is being prepared in the moment. So even just having all our equipment with us wherever we go, and being ready to record situations. Like just the other night, I got a call from a homie. You guys will see a little bit of this on our channel later on. Hey, can you come out and do a podcast with us at a radio station? And so that was a quick, just like drive up to Hollywood, make this happen. Had to grab all our equipment, be ready, batteries charged.
At a moment's notice,
make it happen. And so you've got to be prepared in the moment to make that goal happen, because, man, if you've been doing all these things to lead up to that moment of preparation and you fumble and you've not got all your stuff together, you miss the chance. And so that's the biggest thing that I see people miss out on, is that everything starts to work together, man. They've scheduled, they've been great about setting times, they've been great about living in the moment, they've been great about all these things, and then the moment comes and they're unprepared for it.
No preparation.
And so whatever it is, man, like, Rico talked a lot about working out and hitting the gym, and that's something I'm going to be working on more this year. But like, man, throw an extra pair of clothes in your car. Make sure you're ready to go. Like, prep. Be ready for it. One of the things that I really struggled with early on was being on time to stuff, man. My grandpa used to say to me, if you're 10 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late, and that's how it is in Cali, like traffic's crazy.
That's how I grew up with my dad, dude. Like we would have baseball at like 9 a.m., right? And we'd be at the park at like 7 a.m. I'm like, dude, we're 2 hours early. He's like, well, you got to practice for that moment. You know what I mean? That's something definitely I got to work on.
Yeah, you've heard sayings like the early bird gets the worm, that kind of stuff, man. Like you got to put in that extra effort to be there, be prepared. There's traffic, there's all these things that are going to want to get in the way, these road hazards, right? That want to get in the way of these goals that you've planned. And so you got to be prepared for that, man. The more time and energy that you give to preparedness, the more ready you're going to be when that unexpected thing happens, and so that can be applied to anything, man. That can be applied to eating, that can be applied to the gym, that can be applied to building a brand, social media, being effective with your time, being more successful at your job, whatever it is. And so those are some of the insights I think that we would offer for goal setting. And then the last thing I would say that I think will lead us into next week, because I think next week we wanted to talk a little bit about building habits.
Building new habits,
dude, you got to start small.
Bro, starting small is important, dude. You want to bite off a huge chunk that you can't chew, and then you get discouraged because you don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, well, I always tell my clients when they were like, so I'm gonna start meal prepping 7 meals a day, 7 days a week. Like, I'm just like, that's not gonna happen for you realistically because you haven't been doing that and you don't know, like we're talking about, the habits on how to do that. So it's like, instead of going big and trying to eat 7 healthy meals a day, start with breakfast. Start with one, so you do that for 2 weeks straight, and then add a second one.
Yeah, and then so for me, I'm a public speaker. You guys know I'm a pastor. I do a lot of public speaking, and man, sometimes I see these guys try to bite off these huge events that they're not ready for. Yeah. You step up in front of 5,000 people and you've not got content, you're never coming back. You know what I mean? And so it started with me being in front of 20 kids, 50 kids, 100 people, then camps and bigger stages. And this last year, man, I had the ability just to speak to over, I think it was like 50,000 people, just with all the events added in. And so, you've got to be prepared for that. You've got to work your way up. Start small. Small beginnings, humble beginnings lead to big, great things. And you just got to believe that, and you've got to own that. I have a saying that I say a lot to Rico and some of the other guys that have been around me, man. Most people quit before they have the tools that they need to succeed. And so we believe that you guys can meet your goals. We believe that you guys have the ability to do that, but do these things, and I think it will help you make sure that this year your top 10 actually gets done, or 7, 8, 9 things out of your top 10 instead of looking at that list with a big fat 0 at the end of the year.
That's so true, man. So just to recap, that's number 1. You want to just be realistic with your goals. Number 2, you want to set timelines. Give those goals that you write down a clear time frame to when you're gonna achieve them. Number 3 is to start small, and then I think the 4th one, which is something that we didn't touch on, is discipline.
Yeah.
Be disciplined to do what you said you're gonna do, because if you want to be something you never been before, you gotta do something you've never done before.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. But when you step out into faith and you step out of your comfort zones, that's where things change.
Yeah, and we even broke some of those 4 things down a little bit for you guys and gave you things like being prepared. And so just remember those things, live in that. Rewatch this video, rewatch this podcast, listen to it again. I'd encourage you guys, just stay in that. Remind yourself of that. I have a mentor that told me it takes 3 times before somebody actually listens to what you say. So I would encourage you guys, man, listen to this 3 times. Let it sink in. Write a list down. Write those things down. Put down what really stuck with you in your head, and take that with you. Move throughout the week with that. Move throughout the month with that. And hit us up, man. If you got questions, we're on all the social medias.
Just comment down below. DM us. Email us. We'll put all the info and the links and stuff like that. And you guys, we'll talk about what you guys want to hear.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff, and we want to help you guys achieve what you guys want to achieve this year. And hope you guys are along with us as we achieve what we want to achieve this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're excited. Yep. Next week, we'll be talking a little bit about habits. Yes, so make sure you're looking for that. We're going to be uploading this every Monday. So be looking for those new episodes every week on Monday. Thanks, guys.
See you guys soon.
Congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hating, say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it. That was never friendly. Yeah, now I'm jumping out of Bentley. Yeah, and I know I sound dramatic.